Yo, yo, yo. What's good? What's good? It's Stormybman, and I am back. Welcoming you to Answering the Bell, our Sunday morning call-in for this Sunday, November 23rd, 2025. This is number 184 in the series of call-ins, and we're coming out of a inspiring, heated weekend of boxing where we had fights through the evening from Friday through Saturday, and it has been a pleasure to be able to cover the sport of boxing, witness the matchups, the battles of wills and skills, and the tests of fortitude. We're into the fourth quarter of the year of 2025, and we're still having bouts that are being considered for of the year candidates. So it's exciting. There may be a new entry of the year. There may be an advancement or two on the pound for pound list. So keep an eye out for that, because as we get to toward the end of the year shows, those are going to be some considerations to have conversations about. So welcome everybody. I hope that you had a wonderful Saturday of boxing, as did I. My post-fight show last night was a little bit of a ribbing of sorts to the former champion at WBO welterweight division, Brian Norman Jr., and his dad, Senior, for they really took the promotion of the fight to the left, and they found out, as I've been using that meme on this channel. You might see it today. F around and find out. Yeah, they found out. But it's okay, because class is always in session in boxing, It sure is. And you have to be head of the class to get beyond. That's true. Keep your head on a swivel, Yeah. So, as we begin to open this morning's show, we're starting out with a notification of a Cash App donation. The brother EJ is out there in that Cash App saying, Turkey know how to throw down a fight card. Yes, he does. We appreciate you, EJ, with all your consistent support here on the channel. And I see you over there. We got some guys on the Rumble app. Again, we've got one person writing in the chat, but it says there's 4 people with eyes on the prize. It's a wonder how people just come out here like that, man. They will not throw an allegiance of support behind what we do, but they sure don't want to miss out, huh? They want to be here, huh? I remember when I was in school, we had guys that would show up to class but had no intention of learning a damn thing, tried to prevent you from learning anything, and were just present. Sometimes they'd be present better than the best of students who had great attendance. Guess what? Those imbeciles become adults. Yeah, they do. And some of them even get to a point in life where someone made them a supervisor or a boss on your job, huh? Let alone talk about someone who is your alderman, mayor, senator, governor, huh? President. Yeah. And you wonder what the hell is going on? What is wrong with this world, huh? But just think back. Think all the way back. Because what I'm telling you is the truth, huh? There may be people that don't like it, but I'm not lying to you. Huh? I'm not lying to you. Check your environment. Check around you. You say, you know what? Hot dog, that Stormybman was on to something. Huh? He told us. He's shown us. Yeah. How many times? Think about it. So, with that being said, we are here for Answering the Bell. We're coming out of a wonderful weekend of boxing. I tell you guys, I was expecting for us to have a great outing. I was expecting for things to be exciting, but I didn't know that it would be as exciting as it turned out to be. We saw some great stuff this weekend, you guys. Even if whomever you may have rolled with didn't come out on top, the sport overall has come out on top. Yes. So we can take the time out and see if we could do a roll call, see who's in the building this morning. You know, some people, like I said, they get here bright and early, but that don't mean they're here to participate, huh? Drew Titan, LLC, in the building early. What's good with you? Jimmy Bernard is back. Rod Neal, where you been, man? I see you at other spaces, but you finally trudged yourself across the threshold, huh, of Stormybman. Good to see you, huh? Don't be slacking. Get on in here. EJ is in the building, as I said. Jimmy, J-Man. Gonna give you a whole different name. Jimmy J. J-Man is out there. What's happening? Universal Truth is back with us in the building. Yeah. Jamal Davis is out there. What's good with you? Toby Smith in the building saying salute to Stormy and the chat. Macadus Mac of the South is saying salute to the Grand Master. What's good with you, Macadus Mac? Did you enjoy that, Macadus Mac? I think you was one of them Norman Jr. pickers, if I'm not mistaken. You could correct me if I'm wrong, but I think one of yous, I don't know if it was Macadus Mac or there was somebody who had stomped his foot down and said, I got Norman. Huh? Was that you, Macadus Mac? Who else we got? We got Coach Hudson in the building. Salute to you this morning. How you doing, Coach Hudson? And we have the other channels of Drew. We got Bear Cave Entertainment and the Painful Excellence Podcast representing. The Messenger 215. What's happening with you? Good to see you out there. Freedom's March is back with us. And Nada 86 in there. Nathaniel, what's happening with you? Good to see you this morning. Yeah, I thought that was you, Macadus Mac. I thought that was you, huh? I thought that was you. He says, I said in all the family chats, I got Bam Abdullah, Devin Benavidez winning. My predictions came out right. I don't know about that. I thought you said Brian Norman and put your foot down on it, huh? And stuck up your middle finger when you was telling us. I don't know, man. I don't know. See, you suspect out there. Y'all keep y'all eye on Macadus Mac. He might be, as Coach Hudson say, COINTELPRO out there. Yeah! See, we watching now. I might be old, but I ain't see now, huh? Don't play with me. Do not play with me. Royal Constrictor in the building. What's good with you? You see, sometimes it benefit to be peeping through the blinds in the bushes, because I be seeing them comments. Jamal says, yep, my predictions came out right. I'm proud of all the winners. Boxing won last night. So you got to be careful of them kind of comments too, because that lets you know that you might have been, leaning a certain kind of way, but then, it's like, because it played out like it did, you're going to pretend like, you hop in line and march with everybody else. It's like, no, sucker, you got on green boots. Everybody else is wearing black. Tell them, Freedom's March. Can't you tell them guys who don't know the drill when y'all get up there and you line up for PT and everything, and it's the guy that's trying to emulate everybody else. He ain't got a damn clue, sticking out like a sore thumb. He the one gonna get you shot. Yeah. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, I'll tell you, man, I pay attention, you guys. It may seem like Stormy don't be paying attention sometimes. You can't be called the sensei and don't know the play, huh? Yeah, that's it. But there's going to be a lot of turncoats this week, y'all. Watch out. Keep your eyes out on them now. And I'm going to tell you, if you see them, expose them, huh? Shine that flashlight on them. Turn that high beam on. Right in their eyes. Oh, that's bright. And they ain't got no sunglasses on either. Burn their retinas, huh? Because they always do this, man. They always do it. Well, I'm not saying he wasn't a good fighter. Shut up, huh? Yeah. They're going to be right out there. You should know them by that brown fedora, the dark shades, and the yellow raincoat. With the fake nose and the mustache attached to the shades. Yeah, that's the one right there. And they may be in the chat first, huh? You go live and your setup in your studio say you've been live for 30 seconds and they the first one in there. Salute, salute, salute. Yeah, that's him. We got him. And then you say, that was the fake live. Got your ass. Like, that's the fake live. Yeah, they come in there thinking that they come in there thinking that they part of the family and everything. You know when the government was doing them crackdowns on them criminals? And they pretend like they won a lottery or something, and they tell them to come down to the warehouse where you and a couple of others have won, and they show up, and it's a damn sting set up to send their asses back to jail. Yeah! They come in there pretending like, oh, I've been here all the time. I've been supporting you all the time. Yep. That's what you get. But see, we got tabs on all of them, man. We got tabs on all of them. You know, it'd be like this.
Got your ass.
And then we start the real live after we roast their ass. Then they be standing out there, raincoat stripped, sunglasses with fake nose and mustache stripped, fedora stripped. They out there buck ass naked then, huh? Yeah. And they be locked outside. Coach Hudson said they better not let me see him. I feel you. He says I got a list. And Jamal Davis says, I've been exposing everybody who's talking all that stuff. That's right, man. You gotta expose them, man. Thy hypocrite. Yeah. Agents of chaos. That's right, Coach Hudson. Jamal Davis says, Stormy, you're funny. You're on fire this morning. Man, Stormy got fire all the time. What you talking about? The pilot is never out over here, brother. So watch your mouth. You might find yourself on my skewer, huh? And you know I played that last night, my skewer, huh? Yeah. That pilot ain't never out. In case y'all forgot. Yeah. Jamal said, Stormy, my wife said salute. Tell her I said salute, and she better be on the right side. That's all I can tell her. She better line up straight too. Or otherwise, Freedom's March and Coach Hudson got something for her too. So she better be on the right side with you, Jamal. That's right. Yeah, the whole family lined up. You'd be like, hey, that family got it in order right there. Yeah, that's what we want, huh? That's what we want. We don't want no fakers, huh? No fakers. See, people be thinking, man, it's like, this is easy, right? It ain't easy. It just comes across as easy. But when you telling people the truth, this is what they learn.
Ask the question. it ain't worth asking because it was a one-way deal. It only one man controlled it.
And that was definitely.
See? That's all it's gotta be, man. That's all it's gotta be. The truth, huh? And this is Sunday too? Man, y'all better not come out here this Sunday morning and be lying, huh? That's extra ass whooping right there. Coming out lying on Sunday. Oh, I knew he had it in him all the time. You know, I had a feeling he was gonna. You had a feeling that these Tims was gonna introduce themselves to you, the rear of your pants, coming in here, huh? With that fakery. And fakery is just a couple of letters off of what? Effery. Yeah, you better believe it. Jamal says she's on the right side. I met her at the Floyd versus Hatton fight. She's a hardcore boxing fan. Hey, if she passed the Floyd test, she's a keeper, huh? In other words, Floyd ain't able to holler at your lady, is he? He ain't able to come over there and start flashing them beans and everything, right? He ain't able to do that. And she tell him, go sit your short butt down somewhere, huh? Then you know. Now, I ain't asking you to answer that on the air. I'm just telling you that this is, you know, these are the facts of life, huh? Yeah. Mac, as Mac says, facts. Yeah. So, we are here and we are ready to discuss the wonderment of the Ring 4, huh? Do you guys think it was a success or no? If you think that this was a success, put a 1 in the chat. If you think this card was a success. That's a shout out to Champside, who usually asks people to do things like that. Give him credit for what he does. Hey, I'm asking you guys to please be participants and put a 1 in the chat if you think that this card was a success. Let's see what we got here. Now it says we got 22 people on the main channel. It says we got 6 on Rumble. So let's see what y'all give me. Del Real says, my money was well spent and my family loved it. That's great stuff, man. It's a great thing that you can do something like that and have family a part of it and they really enjoy themselves, huh? You make it an event like that and everybody can eat and have the good time. That's wonderful, bro. That's wonderful. Yeah. And I'm glad your family enjoyed it. Sticks and Jabs, so what's good with you? See you out there. Royal Constrictor in the building. Macadus Mac says, I don't want to hear nothing about Devin. Don't be on the pound for pound list. Listen, man, let me tell you something. Did you hear that clip that I played a little while ago just for Mayweather Sr.? That's the only man, the father of the man, who is considered the modern day TBE, right? That said that this young man had what it takes to be where his son is or was. The only one. And that's the dad. Do you know how much humility that you have to put on display to say something like that? Because you know your son has shown greatness and shown a propensity to be head and shoulders above his own contemporaries during his era. So for you to see the talent in a young, up-and-coming sort, and you can give him that type of accolade, there you have it. My brothers, Drew Titan, Freedom March, Coach Hudson. That's where the hate for Devin stems from. Because here you have a young talent that in his infancy, the incubation stage, where the father of TBE could tell you this might be the heir apparent right here. Oh yeah. How dare he? How dare he? Real recognize real, right? Isn't that the old adage? You haven't heard him say that about anybody else. You have to pay attention, people. Pay attention to what the real is. You have to pay attention to what is being said and what is being displayed. Now think about everybody who's so against him. They were celebrating Ryan Garcia cheating the man. They were celebrating Ryan Garcia having acted an ass and very unprofessional. And to the extent that went way beyond the sport of boxing, the damning comments that he made against the Floyd family, not Floyd Mayweather, George Floyd, that was never recanted or apologized for. And you guys continue to let this guy exist out here as if it didn't happen? But Devin has PTSD, though. The Editorial family, how dare you? How dare you? If anybody has PTSD, I think it's you, because maybe your career didn't go as it was touted, as people had so-called proclaimed, potential. When you don't even live up to potential, you're shot. You didn't make it, You missed the target, Into oblivion you go. As your comments, they go. Yeah, how about that? That's the real Smil, baby. That's the real Smil. B-Mac, learn in the building. Yeah. Remember me saying about those that are out there, the COINTELPRO? Yeah, the ones who act like they with you, but they ready to dial up.
Yeah, boss. He's coming around the building right now. He's got on a white t-shirt and some
brown sweatpants. What? There's only one place for people like that, huh? Only one place for people like that. Yep. There you go. Let us not mistake it, huh? Just line them up. Make sure the ditch is dug first, huh? And get plenty of lime. Yeah. Why not? So, we're going to introduce the call in this morning. The lines are open. Let's see if you guys can call. Let's see, we got a call coming. Okay, we got 267 on the line. Who's calling? What's on your mind? Welcome to the show.
This B Mac.
B Mac.
AKA F plus. I've been getting everything wrong. I thought Brian Norman was going to put the plan flu on Devin Haney because of Devin Haney's last fight that I seen, and I was way wrong. He just got outboxed.
Well, you know, in every class we got people who pretty much make failing grades, huh? Mm-hmm. And you're living down to that, reputation. But I gotta go to summer school. The year is not over yet, so you have a chance to make a comeback. But first, I'd like you to tell the class that's listening, huh? What gives you the impression to have taken the position of which you stated? Now, you said due to his last fight. Point that out to me, the last fight, what you took from it, that you were able to apply to this fight, and then I'll start correcting you from there. Go ahead.
Okay, what I seen in his last fight, I forgot the guy's name. I wasn't familiar with him. But Haney moved well. But he didn't let his hands go. He didn't want to commit what I seen. And it seemed like it was a psychological where the guy take a beating even though the guy cheated, getting hit. And he didn't want to commit. That's what it seemed to me. So I figured a guy like Brian Norman who will commit and be aggressive will, take the fight to Devin Haney. And I didn't know his reaction. I thought his reaction would have flashbacks. But he couldn't hit Devin Haney. He couldn't outbox him.
What about the guy in the previous fight?
What about the guy in the previous fight? He couldn't hit Devin Haney.
Oh!
He couldn't hit him either.
Oh, hold on. Shh. Quiet. So you were able to surmise that Ramirez is his name.
Yeah.
Couldn't hit Devin.
Yeah.
Needed to be planted to land power shots. And Devin's athleticism and mobility kept him out of rhythm to where he could never get into the fight because first and foremost, he couldn't cut the ring off.
Yeah.
And in order to be effective with his own punches, he needed to be planted. And so Devin kept him out of what benefited him greatest. So you surmised, based on that observation.
Can I make another point?
No. You got to listen to me now. Because I've asked you.
I want to come back.
No. There's no coming back from this, what you said. This is an F plus already. I'll let you know in advance.
I know.
No. That's shh. Silence. Shout out to BFTV. Now, I'm going to point this out to you because you need to do more listening, my brother, than talking. Okay? And I'm very serious when I say this. What Devin showed you in that fight against Ramirez is he can box to a degree for a limited fighter to swim as Nazim used to say.
Nazim Richardson.
When he used to say swim without getting wet. That's what Devin was able to put on display. Now, the irony is this. Brian Norman was not the next opponent. It was originally supposed to be Ryan Garcia. But on the same day, Garcia got dropped and lost to Rolly Romero.
Yeah.
A guy who is planted of foot. A guy who's a plotter. A guy who's known as a puncher and not a boxer, but won a unanimous decision against Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
So, when Ryan fell out, they went to Teofimo. Teofimo didn't want it.
He didn't want it. Never did.
Now, Teofimo didn't want it. They went to Boots. Boots didn't want it unless you come up and meet me at 152 or something like that, he said. Some foolish stuff. And Devin was just moving up to 147. So why would he fight Boots above that for no hardware and nothing? You know, it just didn't make sense in boxing. So, of course, that was off the table. So the next thing was, hey, how about one of the champions? Barrios was already tied up. So, you know, he had that Pacquiao thing coming up. So at that time. So that wasn't going to happen. So they say, okay, well, what about this guy, Brian Norman Jr.? Okay, he's got a belt. We can work with that. Mm-hmm. So it turned out that ended up being the fight. Now, the last fight, you, just like the Norman camp, looked at Devin's performance and said, oh, he got PTSD because y'all been listening to these imbeciles out here with channels and platforms. Whoever that is, 203 trying to call in, I can't take more than one call at a time, so you have to wait until I finish this call. If you can't wait, we'll talk to you another day. Anyway, like I said, they looked at that and they assessed, okay, well, we beat up on Jin Sasaki in Tokyo, got what Norman Jr. declared himself as the knockout of the decade. Okay, whatever. But they forgot one important factor when it comes to Devin. And what that simply was, more than anything, did you hear that soundbite I played a moment ago of Mayweather Sr.?
Yeah.
You heard that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you know what that soundbite came off of?
When he was sparring Tank Davis.
Yeah. Now, Tank is what to people? The superstar.
He's
huh?
Yeah, he's the god.
superstar.
He's the golden child.
Yeah, he's a Tank is a star, according to Leonard Ellaby, right? But that was years ago. Years ago. So if he was able to make that assessment on Devin years ago, and in the interim has become undisputed lightweight champion, WBC, WBC junior welterweight champion. Why are people forgetting what the pedigree is here? Why? You know why? Because you're listening to these agenda-driven people out here. You're not looking at the man's accomplishments. Don't they tell you that Loma won 2 Olympic gold medals and he turned pro and he won a world title within certain fights? They tried to get him to do it in his second fight and he lost. Good. Huh?
Yeah.
Because that was supposed to show you that he wasn't all of that. That was supposed to show you that he wasn't all that. That's what that whole purpose and point was.
Yeah.
But Devin came along and beat him. Okay?
Yeah.
Even though people tried to say because he went the distance, oh, well, they robbed Lomachenko. They even got Shakur Stevenson to get in the ring and say some silliness like that. But
Yeah,
if you look at how Devin fought, if you look at how Devin fought last night and what he said at the post-fight press conference, he says that he doesn't fight his opponents the same way. He changes it up. They have different things. He is probably the most multifaceted fighter today. Probably. I didn't say definitively. I said probably. But as long as people continue to drive their narratives to put a wedge between common sense and ignorance, and you're on the side of ignorance because you don't want to hear common sense, because it's popular to be ignorant. It's not popular to be upstanding. It's not popular to be a person of integrity and a person that is serving a sense of just in this world. It's popular to be a slime ball. Am I lying to you?
No.
Okay, so to be easily influenced, because I guarantee you, B-Mac, if the scribes that call the fights, if those reporters that stand there with their microphones who ain't stepped foot in the ring or anything like that and talk all the shit that they talk, if they spoke positively of Devin, the influences of your considerations would be there for what he's capable of doing. But that's not what they do. Their job is to tear people like that down, to make other people feel accomplished, to make them feel like, oh, I'm a part of the party too. Oh, I'm in the clique. Participation trophy status. That's all it is. And they influence you to make poor decisions. Now, we're not talking about picking the winner, this guy over that guy. We're talking about your beliefs, because remember, I asked you, what was it about his previous fight that made you say that this fight would be difficult for Devin? But if you had listened to my breakdown video, if you had listened to me when I had been on a couple of other shows, like with Drew Titan, leading up to this week, I said the boy had trouble against Boca Chica, who Devin is miles ahead of in the sport, talent-wise, and ability and accomplishments. He had trouble against Quentin Randall, who can't lace Devin's shoes. He went over to Tokyo to fight a fighter that, like Devin said, nobody knew who this guy was. Yes, it's great that you traveled across the world to fight in someone else's territory. But that guy was not the pick of the litter for Japan at the welterweight division. They don't really have a pick of the litter. at the welterweight division in Japan. So, your judgment be cloudy only because you bought into those narratives. You did not pay attention to what was established already. What you should have really looked at was Regis Prograis. Regis Prograis is a fighter that hasn't gotten enough of respect of his accomplishments. But now he's starting to become a faded guy. But he wasn't the faded guy when Devin beat him for his title. It's just that people were very upset because of the ease of how Devin defeated him. It was no different than when Floyd defeated Shane Mosley or Zab Judah. Because those guys may have appeared to be more powerful or even more talented or whatever, but the pedigree rose to the top and provided a means of separation between what you were seeing and assessing. This is why I tell you guys, watch boxing. Damn the commentators. Don't listen to that stuff because they have agendas as well. They have to promote whoever is signed with that app or that platform. They have to promote what their directors and producers tell them. Speak on this guy a little more. Why I say that this channel, I don't do that. I don't glaze fighters. I actually embarrass them because if you don't come with what you're supposed to bring, I'm going to talk about that. I'm not here to powder and pamper. I don't do that. And when a fighter deserves the merit, I speak on that. And I talk about that. And I put it out there so people can know that they're looking at quality over something that is just superficial. You know, in the 70s, they had the show Happy Days, where Henry Winkler played the Fonz. He wore a black leather jacket with a white T-shirt and blue jeans, boots, and you know, rode a motorcycle. He's supposed to be cool from the 50s, huh? But people who couldn't afford those leather jackets like he wore, there was something that they used to sell in the stores called pleather. Now, the pleather jackets kind of look like the real deal, but you knew it wasn't when it got cold outside and it started cracking and stuff. And then when the processing of your hair in the black community, that's getting chemicals and stuff in your hair, which eventually led to jerry curls and all of that kind of stuff, would eat up the collars of the pleather, huh? It would chew it up and burn it like somebody spilled acid on the collar of your jacket, huh? Yeah. It didn't do that to real leather. It did that to pleather. Because you know why real leather? Real leather is from an animal's hide. You see? But people can be easily fooled and dismayed and led astray. This is why I say what I say, man. But it's like it comes across sometimes, some folks are insulted. No, you should be insulted with yourself. Because you're not elevating your thought process. You're not giving in to considerable available knowledge to take the easy route and what's convenient of being popular. When I was growing up, my dad and mom used to say, when I get in trouble doing something, oh, well, I was just following my friend Steve and them. Well, if Steve and them gonna jump off a mountain, you gonna follow them doing that too? No. Well, what the hell you following them for? Because as ignorant as he's acting, that's where he's headed. And since you following, guess where you headed? You knucklehead. Yeah. That's what they would tell you. You see? So all of this that I'm saying, I went a long way around, the long route, to tell you, Brother, do you know where you can get sound boxing conversation and advisement on these airwaves? Do you know? I'm asking. That's a question to you.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, why not allow yourself the process of not only partaking in that, but to use your own judgment and assessment? Stop being influenced.
This fight with Devin Haney and Brian Norman, I didn't listen to nobody on the build-up. I didn't hear the interaction with his father. I just was off of YouTube. I was working too much, so I didn't hear nothing. I didn't hear your comment pre-fight or your predictions. I didn't hear the war between the two fathers. I didn't hear anything. I didn't listen to 78. None of the.
You didn't have to listen to that, but you told me. Remember, I asked you a question, you answered it, and I gave my rebuttal based on what you presented to me. You said, based on Devin's previous fight, that you thought that this guy was gonna have his way with Devin.
Yeah.
Which means that you got nothing out of Devin's performance outside of what those people were talking about, that he, quote, ran. He used.
What I was worried about when they said he ran, I didn't say that. I said he moved. I said he don't let his hands go. He didn't want to commit.
He let his hands go. He let his hands go in that fight enough to win on points unanimously, brother.
Yeah, but not his normal self.
No. Listen, you said not his normal self. Did I not just share with you and the listening audience that this man has won fights in a multiple variety set of ways? Did I not just say that?
Okay.
Yes or no? Yes or no? Did I not say that?
Yeah.
Okay, so since I said that, it never became a consideration of yours. What you were thinking was what you wanted to see. But he was swimming. Let me finish, B-Mac. Let me finish, B-Mac, please. What you were saying is that he didn't do what you wanted him to do, what you wanted to see, but he was swimming without getting wet, and he was successful. He won unanimously. And that was a different wrinkle. You had not seen him box like that before. And guess what? In last night's performance, he did a little bit of everything. And the other guy wasn't ready for none of it.
Yeah, what I'm saying, he didn't let his hands go. It seemed like he didn't want to commit. I'm used to seeing Devin making people miss and countering him. I didn't see that.
What you're used to, and what you've watched and witnessed is two different things, because you're not consuming the actuality that the man is a diversified fighter. He's not one-dimensional. He's not two-dimensional. He's not three. He has shown himself to be 4, possibly 5-dimensional fighter amongst a slew of guys who don't get past being 3-dimensional. And that comes from your ignorance because you haven't allowed it to soak in. Versatility over the single dimensions. And you can't see beyond. You want to see this. It's just like when Abdullah Mason fought Sam Noakes. This guy, Noakes, could only win one way. And that's for Mason to be there and be available for him to hit on. But each and every time that Mason stepped out of that, peppered him with certain shots and walked him into stuff, he looked great and Noakes was faltering. But he chose to get in and fight in. And yes, that's exciting. The people will cheer. The people are loving it or whatever. But they're not loving it like you think they may be loving it. They were loving it like they want to see that nigga get knocked out. Because that's the only chance. They talked about Norman's vaunted left hook that he knocked out Jin Sasaki with. He never hit Devin with it in 12 rounds.
He didn't do anything to set it up either.
He don't have the ability to set it up.
Exactly.
No, don't say exactly. Because I just said what you should have said. You said he didn't do nothing to set it up. I said he don't have nothing to set it up. That's what I said. You see how you can be looking at things and not be seeing what you need to be seeing because you're not practiced, you're not versed, you're not paying attention. Even in this moment of a teachable moment, you are not grasping what I'm sharing with you. This is why there's hundreds of people out there watching me, but they don't want to come into the chat and say, hey, Stormy, I feel you. I appreciate that. Huh? They jealous. They sitting out there and they say, well, damn, who does this guy think he is? I'm here to dispel the bullshit and tell you the truth. That's what I exist for. In a land of people, you got professionals, trainers, coaches out there that can't spit it like what I'm telling you because it's fake. I've been saying it. And YouTube suppresses it. So if you come here, you will get the genuine. I sleep on that merit, brother. It's real.
I've been in the gym for 15 years, right? Listening to different trainers and stuff like that. I learned more from you, Scrapbook, and Sugar. This is Kurt. From y'all channel than anything in the gym with those trainers. I've been around some well-known boxing trainers too.
Yeah.
And I've been in there with them, and I be ear hustling. I learn from everybody. I'm not trying to say they don't know nothing, but I learn more listening to you on YouTube and Kurt. And like, take for instance what Kurt said one time. He said there was over 45 champions here in Philadelphia. I never knew that. And I went to the gym and asked each and every one of the people that posed to know boxing. None of them knew that either. But Kurt knew it. You knew it. I didn't know it. And I'm from Philly.
Well, you know, things like that. That's something nice to know from a historical standpoint, from a regional standpoint, and everything. But where I place the value of understanding the sweet science happens to be within everything that I share, like what I'm talking about in this moment, the immediate. Because if the Normans were smart, they would have stayed away from Devin Haney because he's still a work in progress. Now, he suffered a tremendous setback in this loss to Devin because he found out a painful reality. He's not as good as he thought he was.
Yeah. Because he got beat, like, kind of easy. It was easy.
Well, the whole point of it is that Devin is much better than the people were telling you he is. I just said that, the public sentiment, how they've had an agenda against this young man because of Floyd's success. Floyd was dominant, okay? And they were trying to find ways to beat Floyd. Even at the twilight of his career, they were pressing him to move up to 160 and fight Triple G. Triple G was way too big for Floyd, way too big, but they were still pressing for it. Well, if you're pound for pound and you're the best in the sport, you should be able to do that too. No. Mm-hmm. Triple G should have challenged himself and moved up and faced Andre Ward.
Yeah, he ain't want to do that.
He ain't want to do that. And there's audio.
Well,
shout out to my brother.
He didn't want to fight Lara.
There's audio. Shout out to my brother Drew Titan, who has it, the clip, where Triple G is talking about, no, Ward is too good. Andre is too good. I don't want none of that.
Yeah, he said that. Yeah. Dante Boxing Nation asked him that. He's like, oh, no.
Listen. We have people who are always looking to try to undermine the greatness of the established man. And the whole point of that is because they want to see you fail. They want to see you falter. They want to see you beaten. They want to be able to see the other guy standing over you. Because for generations, you as a nation has stood over everyone. I keep telling you, it's a deeper thing than what you just see on the surface, man. I be trying to get you guys to peel back the layers of the onion and understand. But you are so clouded with the superficial bullshit and talking points that you can't even say your own freaking words. You're saying what you've been programmed to say. Do I sound like I'm fucking programmed? Do I? That's a question.
Nah, you're not programmed.
Of course. And you know, I can speak spontaneously on the sport of boxing.
Yeah.
When have you heard me say, you ain't heard that from me? There's a difference, brother. I try to tell people the best way to be fastidious and get through it all, go watch the sport. I watch all of it as much as I can. I was watching fights on DAZN Friday night, calling them on my channel, enjoying it, just having it on live. Got my what they call it, my watch time hours up just by doing that show. Wasn't even calling the fight as much as just watching it while I'm on the air and everything, because I love the sport of boxing. And there was some shit that went down during that card. It's like, wow, didn't expect that. Whatever. That's why you take it in. But you sit around and wait for the guys who you know only, the guys that you've only heard their names mentioned. And guess what? It's going to pass that you miss out on some things. There was a judge that had Devin winning the fight against Norman Jr. by 1 point. He knocked him down. That's a 2-point round right there. So you mean to tell me if he didn't knock him down, it's a draw?
So it was a 9-10 round, that knockdown round?
You don't, man, come on. You don't, no. But this is what I'm talking about. These people, they have their agendas. Devin boxed a beautiful fight. If Nazim Richardson was around to see that, he would have given him all kinds of accolades and praise for that, what he did. And even in the post-fight press conference, you had the same old suspects, Radio Raccoon and crew, asking the stupidest of questions because they don't want to accredit the man for what he is. And that's a pretty damn good fighter. And he's a pretty damn good kid.
Yeah, he did everything right. Like a young guy, young fellow.
But this is what they
no
do.
Scandal or anything like that.
But you will hear them if it was someone else, especially of a different ethnicity or whatever, they're going to praise the person. Come what may.
Oh, yeah.
Sam Noakes, they want to put him in the Hall of Fame already. But he ain't win shit. He got beat the fuck up. But they praising his heart, his guts. Well, did Abdullah show that too? Where's the praise for his heart and guts? He's fucking 20. 20. So it's like, you see what I'm saying? The talking points. They make you look like a buffoon. And buffoon rhymes with what? Baboon.
Cocoon.
I'm telling you, it's like this is what they do, bro. You don't have to be a part of that foolishness. You don't. Why participate?
Well, it's just like what you said with the Crawford Alvarez, and I voted that win bigger probably than Floyd because of the weight issue. And like you said, when they were trying to get Floyd to go to middleweight for Triple G, for Crawford to step all the way up to 68 and beat Alvarez, to me was big. That was real big. That was harder.
It's huge. Because you
That is
had
huge.
people on that side talking about you were stupid for thinking that he could even accomplish such a feat. So therefore, that raises the level of his achievement, doesn't it? If I were being considered
stupid than the Floyd win because it was more weight.
If I was being
weight.
considered stupid for thinking that Crawford had a chance to defeat Canelo, and he does just that, but not only does he achieve it, he washes Canelo and made Canelo, he became Canelo's daddy in that whole situation, then if I was stupid for considering that a victory would be possible, then I must be a fucking mastermind of intellect to have considered it in the first place, since I was being deemed otherwise.
It's only about 3 people I talked to said what you said. You, I don't know if you remember Tyrone Everett, but I work with his brother. His name is Eddie Everett. Y'all was the ones coming out saying, the boxing gurus that I knew, they all said Crawford was going to beat him bad. And it don't matter. I said, wait. They said, you guys said, it don't matter. I was like, okay. His weight class, it don't matter when it comes to him.
I had told people, anybody that would listen, I said that Bud is a fighter that Canelo in 60 plus fights has never fought anyone like him before. I said that.
That's true.
And when the fight took place, you could see it. It's like he was like, do you remember that one particular round when Bud hit him with a fucking counter shot and Canelo looked at him sideways as if to say,
yeah, like, how the hell I get hit with that?
But not only that, but like, where did that come from?
Yeah, where did it come from?
You've never seen him react like that, because it's like, in other words, he's learning something spontaneously in the moment that he hadn't encountered before. This is not in the gym, because he brought all those black guys in the gym to spar and work with it. Over the years, he was trying to learn about how to fight against the melanated fighter's athleticism and his agility. But sometimes when you're great, there's something called improvisation. See, the intangibles that my brother Kurt Sugar talked about, improvisation, do you know what that means? Improvisation?
Secret sauce.
Huh?
That's the secret sauce.
No, it's not a secret sauce. What that means is, in the actual moment in time, you can do something out of order and out of sorts that wasn't in the rhythm of what was transpiring.
So it's like a reaction.
No, it's an adaptation.
Okay.
To circumstances. It brings you to a place and a point of where it's, who do it all the time? Jazz musicians.
Yeah.
They can get together and you could get a drummer and he could start off. And then the others come in and they start chiming in. The celloists come in, the horn guy comes in, the trumpet, and next thing you know, you got a damn jazz jamboree going on. That's improv, brother. Spontaneity, doing it in the act of the moment. That's why a lot of people used to go to jazz clubs and sit down and watch it, and some would record it because they say, man, this is like, I never heard anybody play like this before. Yeah.
One guy recorded it because he was a musician himself. He was a white guy. Tried to record the black jazz guys and tried to mimic it. And he couldn't mimic it. He was a musician. He couldn't mimic what they just did. He recorded them.
Yeah.
He couldn't do it. So, it's almost like the guy that I spar with. He's not on no Crawford level, but he's similar to Crawford, build and everything, right? The way he fights. And there was another guy in there. Now I'm bigger than them. I'm 6'2". Those guys is smaller. They 5'8", whatever, 5'9". And there was an Indian guy in our gym, and he's real good on the pads, on the bag. He moves more than the guy say fights like Crawford. So I'm in the ring sparring with him. The guy like Crawford, he's hard to hit. He's hard. He's tricky. That's the one that hit me with a body shot. It put me out for like 2 weeks. But when I got in there with the Indian guy, thinking he moves more and he looks slick on the backs, he was so easy to hit. It was crazy how good he looked outside, and then when he jumped in the ring and sparred, it was like taking candy from a baby. You know, I couldn't figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And he moves more than the other guy. Moves way more. And he was just, I throw a jab out there, it connects every time. I mean, it could be slow or fast, whatever. It didn't matter. Everything was hitting him. The other guy, the black guy, I couldn't hit him. I got to really, really concentrate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me take a quick moment and acknowledge a couple of
I'll let you get some other people call.
Yeah, let me do that as well. But I thank you for your call, and I want you to know I'm not angry at you. I speak passionately about boxing, and I want you guys to wake up to the notion that you are more intelligent, that you have more to think for yourself and on your own, and instead of being influenced by these people that really they want to lead a flock of sheep. That's what they want to do.
I don't listen to them.
But think outside the box. Remember, I pointed out to you your improper assessment of Devin against Ramirez, because all he did was show you a new wrinkle of something that he could do that wasn't being done before.
I wasn't looking at it that way.
I know. That's why I'm trying to open your mind to be looking at something
I'm looking
different.
at the way he fight. You said, no, look at the way he went in. He went in a different way. I never thought of that.
Exactly, which is what I'm trying to get you to understand to do, brother. That's all.
Yeah, so
no more, no less.
So I learned, that's why I talk to you. I learn something new every day.
There you go. And once you begin to do that, you will be just fine, bro. You will be fine. And then they'll be looking at you in those gyms like, man, where'd you pick that knowledge up? Hey, I had my third eye opened. That's all.
I told them some of the stuff you say, too. I told them. They don't know. They know. Especially what you said with how you shoot your jab and you get your measure with your foot, your front foot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, it works. It works like a charm.
Mm-hmm.
I use that.
But let me take this other call come in, because this person's been calling like crazy. Okay. All right.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, peace. Thanks, bro.
Peace.
Okay, we got 203 calling. Who's calling? What's on your mind?
What's good, Stormy? This is Liz, Jamal Davis's wife.
Oh, okay. How you doing? Good morning to you.
Good, and you?
I'm good.
No, I just wanted to call in. Yeah, I just wanted to call in because, you know, I'm a boxing fanatic, period.
Okay.
I don't just watch pay-per-views and, you know, stuff like that. You know,
Yeah.
When it comes down to boxing, that's my shit. That's my sport.
Good.
And to me, Haney, what happened last night was bound to happen. Haney he showed everyone his skills were all of it, and people just can't handle it because, you know, they're hating Haney for some reason.
Well, I've already given the reason that they've hated him. Have you been listening?
I mean, there's a number of reasons.
Have you been listening?
Oh, of course. I've been watching since the start.
No, but what I'm saying, think about this now.
Mm-hmm.
Over a decade ago, he come up in Floyd's gym.
Okay.
He had access to Floyd Sr., who had watched him grow in the gym, and was so that soundbite that I played of Floyd speaking of him was after a sparring session that took place between he and Tank Davis. But you're talking about a man whose son went on to become one of boxing's greatest champions ever in Floyd Jr. And for him to say that that young man, Devin Haney, has everything it takes to be just like his son, do you know what kind of compliment that is?
Oh,
No one has come
definitely
along and told you that, you know, and this is not to be disrespectful by any means. You know, Michael Jordan's dad passed away. But before he passed away, he never came and said about anyone else in the NBA or potentially going to the NBA, that guy is going to be like my son. Do you understand? So for what senior did and put that out there, and people could see it, they could see it. But, you know, Kobe was like the closest thing to Jordan, even down to the point where he talked like him. Kind of had some of his mannerisms on the court, try to walk like him a little bit. But what Kobe did was he took what Jordan was great in and he tried to make that his own and do. He wasn't trying to copy Jordan, but he understood the excellence that was there. That's just like during the 70s, we had a lot of guys coming up in the heavyweight division. They would try to emulate Muhammad Ali, his movement in the ring and the way he threw his punches and things like that. But we never had anyone try to emulate the character of the man, because the character is what came through and shined through the talent and ability. He had a God-gifted talent that is not the average thing. It's a once-in-a-generation type thing. His hand speed, his foot speed, his ability to evade punches and not get hit solid with things by moving his head out the way and stuff like that. No one had ever seen that before Ali. So there were people trying to imitate that. The closest thing that I've seen to Ali was the young Michael Nunn. And he wasn't even a heavyweight. He's a southpaw middleweight, but he could do all the stuff that Ali could do. And a lot of people never really talked about that very much. But Michael Nunn could do in the ring what Ali was doing at heavyweight, but he was only at middleweight. Go back and watch film of Nunn. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. But not to get off of what we're making, the point on Devin. So to come up in Floyd's gym, he began to talk like Floyd and everything, kind of like Kobe and Jordan. But as he grew in his knowledge and experience of learning, he was becoming good. And he had this talent to be able to put things together. And then the character that's instilled in him by his dad, which is very strong, that's something that Floyd didn't have. That's what separates them.
Yeah.
And see, people could see that, and the hate campaign started immediately. It didn't happen because of the Ryan Garcia situation. It happened prior to that. It happened because they were like, uh-oh, here come another one. And if we have a guy like this coming up, there ain't going to be no room for nobody to eat. You understand? Because that's what Floyd did.
Yeah.
He took it away from everybody. So quite naturally, you got another young man who's coming along, and he can possibly do the same thing. So they start throwing daggers at him, you know. Oh, he ain't this. He ain't got no power. He ain't that. If he didn't have power, Brian Norman wouldn't have been looking up at him last night in the second round. And he was one of the main ones talking about he had pillow fists, huh? Well, that's a hard-ass pillow. I don't think I ever want to sleep on a pillow like that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, honestly, like when Haney dropped him, I was like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
And it was early in the fight.
Yeah.
So, like me and my husband said, if Haney gets him into the deep waters, you know, like past the fifth and all that, he was done. But Haney, to me, won every fucking round.
Yes, he did. But check this out. Norman, dad and son, they need to be thankful that Haney might be a little more like Floyd than they realize. Because if he were like Crawford, he would have killed that boy within a few more rounds.
I know.
See, that's what separates Crawford. And I've tried to tell people this. Crawford has an innate killer instinct that takes him to a place where you pretty much got to kill him or he gonna kill you. And that's why Canelo was resigned to the fact that I can't beat this kid, but I don't want to put myself in a risk to take because he gonna turn it up. And you saw Bud turn it up on him in those later rounds. He just started doing more stuff than he was doing earlier. And he could have done it earlier. He said it post-fight. But Bo Mac was telling him, no, don't do that. Let's just keep doing what we're doing and we'll be successful. But see, again, think about that. He had enough wherewithal to listen to his coach. But he still went out there and showed Canelo this is what it is. Now, they're supposed to fight a rematch. It's been recently announced that Canelo has activated the rematch clause. Canelo's getting ready to get knocked out for the first time in his career.
I was going to say, this time around, Canelo's done.
He's going to get knocked out.
Canelo's done.
Because Bud ain't going to go 12 rounds with him. Bud going to look to make, he's going to look to send a message. And I said it today, November 23rd, 2025, on this call-in show, number 184, that when they fight the rematch, Bud is going to knock him out.
Guaranteed. I totally agree with you. And one thing about that fight was Crawford actually moved up in weight just to fight him.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone thinks, because Canelo, not for nothing, they cherry pick with Canelo.
Yes.
Canelo only fights people that he thinks he could beat.
Right.
It's like a bully. You know what I'm saying? He's afraid to fight the best. That's why he hasn't fought Benavidez yet. He don't want to fight him, because he knows Benavidez will knock him out. I believe that. Benavidez will knock him out.
Oh, yeah, because Benavidez...
Like I said, he's a cherry picker. He only fights people that he thinks he's going to beat. He thought that he was going to beat Bud, and everybody else thought that too. And Crawford just showed his skills. Like, nope, I came in here to fight. I want to fight the best. And that's just what it was. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Canelo's just upset. He walked out that fight crying like, they should have held his hand coming out the ring, just like they did with Ryan.
Yeah, and he's upset, and his pride is getting in the way because people been talking about it and everything, and he probably is like, well, I want to get my get back or whatever, but he gonna get back, all right. He gonna get on his back. That's what's gonna happen because to go in there. I keep telling people, Bud is a different natured person, and if getting back to what I originally said, if Devin had Bud's disposition, Brian Norman wouldn't have made it out of 7 rounds because the knockout was there. The knockout was there. But what Devin is Devin is a clean fighter. He reminds me of Ali in that sense that Ali just wanted to beat you up, but he didn't want to hurt you and kill you or nothing like that. He wants you to be able to go home to your family.
I was just telling my husband that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ali, and Devin is that guy. Devin don't want to hurt or kill nobody, but he want to show you he's better than you. That's all. He and
it didn't even look like he was in a fight. He don't got no
exactly. And Norman Jr. looked like Lubin looked after he fought Fundora. Lumps and everything. Yeah. But hey,
my husband just said it. Devin's definitely that guy.
Yep.
He put money on it. Exactly. Who has Brian Norman fought? When you think about it, he got power and everything, but he ain't fighting nobody that anybody knows.
Right.
He's fighting. He fought whatever. Haney, look at his accomplishments. Look who he fought.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
And people been avoiding Haney.
Like I said, people are ducking him, coming up with excuses. Oh, I'll fight him if there's more money, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm sick of it. Just like I told my husband before, if Haney and Tank got in the ring at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if Haney won. My bad.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if Devin won. You know what I mean? Because he just showed us at last night. He got them skills and the power. He was on the ropes. It kind of reminded me of Floyd. On the ropes, doing the rope-a-dope. Then he'll turn him around. He fucked that kid's ass last night.
Yep.
And I don't care what nobody says. To me, all the people, they're pay-per-view boxing, fans. Yeah, they're casuals. They don't know what they're talking about.
Well, they're
They
too
sure
busy
don't.
listening to
You know.
these people with these channels and these influencers who their talking points are basically to stir controversy and to get audiences riled up or whatever. You see, and even if they get people arguing with each other, they think that that's good for it. Oh, we generated some numbers and this and that.
Exactly.
But you also generating ignorance. You understand? Which is what I was just telling the previous caller, B-Mac. I was talking about that. Stop being influenced by these people who promote ignorance. You want someone who is going to bring you to a place of enlightenment and opening up your mind to see better and see clearer and see through the fog and stop speaking narrative influenced articulation. You want to speak with a sound mind of, because you've looked at something, you've studied it, and you've learned something from what you looked at in an observation, and now you can put it into words about what this is. That's why I asked him when he thought that I asked him, I said, well, why did you think Norman was going to beat Devin? He said, well, his previous fight, all he did was move and he wasn't letting his hands go and everything. I said, but okay, but he won the fight, right? And he was like, yeah, he won. I said he won going away. It was a wash. I said, so what you're telling me is because he moved around and he won the rounds easily, swam without getting wet, so to speak, and that wasn't good enough for you. You wanted him to trade and exchange and everything like that. But if it wasn't necessary and he's winning, why can't you be more receptive and understanding? Like, well, damn, he just showed me he can win another way. You understand? Because when he
That's
fought,
what my husband, styles make fights.
yeah, when he fought Regis Prograis,
you're not gonna have an exciting fight every time.
When he fought Regis Prograis, he was right there in front of Regis Prograis and put Regis on his ass and everything. So it's like people forgot that.
Yeah.
When he fought Lomachenko, he fought Lomachenko and went blow for blow with Lomachenko. And then when he fought Kambosos in Australia, he fought him 2 different ways in 2 fights. So what you're seeing is this kid is really a multifaceted fighter. You don't know which Devin you're gonna get when he gets in the ring with you. And guess what? That's a harder man to prepare for.
Exactly. And one thing I am going to say is Devin really worked on his defense because he had that on his back foot the whole time.
Yeah.
Because not for nothing, Devin, he gets hit a lot. And like my husband said, and I totally agree, they really worked on his defense. I mean, he wasn't even getting hit like that, I don't know. To me, it's like Devin, the Devin that came out last night is the Devin that, people like us know. He came out to fight and show everybody he ain't no sucker. He got it in him.
It was like...
he's a winner, a champ.
As I watched the fight, it was like halfway through the first round, I noticed that, check this out. Maybe you saw this and didn't put it together like I'm getting ready to show you what I assessed and surmised from what I was viewing. In the first round, Norman was stepping to him and trying to like flick that little jab at him as he was stepping to him and Devin was circling him. But if you notice, Devin's back foot was arched off the canvas like he was going to spring forward like a sprinter, right? When a fighter is doing that, you have to be aware of a hard counterpunch. Okay? Now, now Norman is following him, but Devin is circling, didn't move away from him, but was circling and watching. And Devin finally, midway through the round, threw a hard jab. Boom! And it immediately bust Brian Norman's nose. Okay, so he carried him into the momentum of his jab. Now, it had been said for a few years, but the Ryan Garcia situation kind of make people stop thinking about it. But Devin has one of the best jabs in boxing, and he showed it last night. And when he hit Norman with that first jab, boom, it bust his nose. He immediately started wiping and dabbing at that nose. Then he pumped him a couple of more times with it. And I was saying to myself, I said, Devin, throw that two behind it, throw that right hand behind it. But then I realized, I said, oh, what he's doing is he's getting familiar with the space and the timing. And when he nails Brian Norman with a shot, he wants it to be impactful. And God dog it, in the second round, what did he do? That three-punch combination that he hit him and put him down, that first right hand, that counter right hand that he hit Norman with, you could see Norman's eyes when they showed the replay. His eyes was like, what the hell was that?
Look at his eyes. Yeah.
It was like he wasn't expecting that. He was told that Devin can't punch. And sure enough, a couple more shots and he was on the canvas. And that was closer to the end of the round, so Devin didn't really get a chance to follow up in that instance. But the fight was won in that moment. You know why? Because Norman, everything that they had trained and believed wasn't true. They believed the narratives of the people and the sentiment of these guys who talk and all of this. Listen, Devin is one of the most dangerous boxers out there to fight because he can do so many different things. And now that he's at 147, and I talked about this in my breakdown, and I've been saying it, I said he's probably at the weight that he needed to be. He should have probably been at welterweight 5 years ago because he spent a decade at lightweight. So did you see he didn't look fat or nothing?
He did accomplish so much moving up, you know.
Oh, yeah.
He had all the belts, you know. Nobody see. Like my husband was saying, you said, you know, you are all saying the same thing. Nobody is giving him his flowers. Nobody's looking at how he accomplished everything.
Yep.
You know what I mean? From the beginning up to his career right now.
Yeah.
You know, and Devin is a humble person.
Yeah.
He don't talk shit, you know, like to get people riled up. He's just honest with it. You know? And,
yeah.
Wait, what did you say, Bob? Yeah. Yeah. Did you hear my husband just now?
No, I can't hear him in the background. I can't hear him.
Well, basically what he was saying that, Haney, that Haney, what he had to do, this was before the fight. Before they started fighting, he was saying that Haney had to hit him to get his attention, like give him that power hit.
Yeah.
And, you know, so, like, Norman knew he was in a fight.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Give that respect that Haney got that power. So, yeah, I mean, come on, the second round, drop him like that?
He did the same thing to Regis. Regis was talking about he can't hit and he got leaf blowers for fists and all of that. And they got in there, and I think it was in the second round too, or the third round against Regis. He did the same thing, wang, wang, upside his head, and now Regis is on the canvas, and he was like, oh. And then when the fight was over, the first thing Regis said, well, he's a lot better than I thought he was.
That's what he's talking about. That's what he's talking about. No, my husband was saying he did the same thing to Regis. I said, that's what you just said.
Yeah. And it's amazing, like, these people out here, they're watching boxing, but they're believing these narratives, right? And then they don't want to look at, like, what's really going on. And the young man will fight anybody. He doesn't care who's on the other side because he wants to prove he's the better man. And that's what you want out of the warriors that fight in the sport. Now, he's not a reckless guy. And maybe, hopefully, Abdullah Mason can learn from Devin because it's obvious that Mason is a real talent. And he's going to take over that lightweight division. But his career will be short-lived if he fights everybody like he fought last night. Because he didn't have to fight like that to be successful. And the thing is, he might feel he convinced himself, okay, I'm a warrior. I got it in me. Yeah, that's great, son. But don't fight every fight like that. You know, be a little more
You're right,
versatile.
because he was kind of reckless.
Yeah.
With how he was throwing and
Yeah. And that
You're
will
right.
lead to not only damage suffered in the ring and in sparring, because don't forget the sparring part, because if you're doing that kind of stuff in sparring, that takes years off of your career in the ring. So you have to be, you know, even keeled when it comes to that. And I hope that his dad and his people around him will look at those things and make an adjustment for that for him going forward, because he doesn't have to fight every fight like that. There may be a moment where he has to reach in his toolbox to show the opponent, hey, this is what it is. But you don't have to go into a fight fighting like that. That was the opponent last night, Noakes. That was his only way to win. That Abdullah fight him like that. You know, but that wasn't the only way that Abdullah could win.
When it comes down to that fight, yeah, I mean, Abdullah was good and all that. You know, he did win, no doubt about it. But Noakes, he's a warrior too. I mean, he hung in there.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, he hung in there. When I thought he was like done, he still like, you know, was coming back with some stuff.
But see, this is the thing. I mean, let me explain this to you. Because, see, I told you, I used to coach in the gyms and stuff like this. I want to say that being a warrior doesn't guarantee victory.
You're right.
The smartest guy usually wins. The smartest guy. When you're fighting at the top level of the sport. And since they were fighting for a world title, you can't get much more top level than that. However, you have to be good also. Noakes was not good enough to beat Abdullah Mason straight up, so he had to resort to certain tactics and things to draw Mason into something that where he can compete with him. You see? And that's the thing that Mason, who's only 21 years old, has to learn. It's like, I don't have to fight your fight to whoop you. You have to fight my fight to whoop me.
Exactly. Just like Mayweather. Mayweather had everybody fighting his fight.
There you go.
You know? If you couldn't get to Mayweather by at least the fourth round, it's over. That fight's Mayweather.
Same thing with people like Pernell Whitaker or even Bud Crawford. The great fighters, that's what they do. They'll give you 4 rounds to see what you can do and what you got. After that, they take over and it's a wash.
There you go. I always say that. But especially with Mayweather. Like you said, Mayweather gives you that chance. But after that, he's just gonna take you out. You know, because I was a big Mayweather fan.
Yeah.
Big Mayweather fan. But Crawford, I'm really a big Crawford fan as well. And I just felt like he was gonna win. Because Canelo talks too much. You know, he just talks too much. And I was so happy that Crawford got him. And it's sad because look who beat Canelo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was somebody that went up in weight. He purposely did that because he thought that he was going to win.
Yeah.
You know? He's a cherry picker, but guess what? Crawford was calm and humble. He said, well, tonight you're going to lose. I'm going to whoop that, you know. Crawford delivered.
Yeah.
He did everything and more that he told us he was going to do.
Yeah.
Because Crawford's he's very versatile. Just like Haney, I'm going to say it again, Haney is a very versatile, skilled fighter. You know, he got his good days and bad days, but he's so undefeated for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's one of the best. Well, right now, he is the best in his weight division.
Right.
He proved that last night.
Yeah.
So, and he don't duck nobody. That's another thing. He's not hiding from nobody. He wants to fight the best.
Right.
You know? And that's what I respect about him. I respect his skill set and how he just don't duck nobody. You know? So, but yeah, I just wanted to, get in there and talk to you real quick. Just to let you know that, yes, Jamal Davis's wife is that real one that actually watches boxing.
Well, that's
But,
good. That's good.
It was an exciting fight, though. The whole card last night was a good card. It was back-to-back action. And everybody that we wanted to show, to get they flowers, got them.
That's right. So, there you go. And now all you got to do is you got to get practiced in watching my content, because that's going to help you out even more. Because when you learn that the way I assess the fights, the fighters, and give the breakdowns and everything is genuine. I don't do glazing. I don't do powdering and pampering someone's ass. I don't do that.
That's what I always say that about you.
Mm-hmm.
That, you're not on here just, trash talking, trolling other people. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. You don't trash talk. Sorry. That's how I meant to say it.
Yeah. And
you're a teacher. Like, you try to, give people the knowledge of, boxing and all that. Because all these channels that, people go into and stuff, they're followers. They're not there to try to learn. They're not there learning the sport, hearing the knowledge.
Yeah.
And I don't watch you all the time, but a lot of time I do.
Yeah.
My husband always watches you. So I always said you're one of the humble ones. I like your channel. I like, the content you put up, and,
Well, I appreciate it. And also, I don't do it for the numbers, I would like my numbers to grow, but I don't do clickbait stuff. I don't try to draw people in just to get to watch. No, it's like I reach who I should reach, and that's what's important. Because if you saw me out here trying to do clickbait or do stuff to drum up interest for that means that I'm chasing a different type of desire or something like that,
right.
and I don't do that. So.
Honestly, I believe that they're messing with your page, with your numbers.
Of course they are.
Because, I mean, you're you're a popular guy on YouTube. I know that there is a lot of people that watches your, especially right now.
Of course.
I feel like, YouTube messes with the people that, that are truthful, that wants to send facts out there. That's trying to, give people life-learned lessons and stuff. And, it's sad. It really is. It's sad. Because, people need to give you your flowers. You're out here being honest, but you're entertaining at the same time. But you got that knowledge. And, a lot of people, it's just, it's always something. When it comes to anything, it's always something lately.
And I've told, I've told my audience, I'm not a sellout. I'm not selling out for what I do. My stuff is genuine here. So if you want the pure boxing talk and that experience from that vantage point, that's what you get when you come here.
Absolutely.
No shucking and jiving.
You don't sugarcoat nothing. But you also don't put down the fighter either. You actually, you're trying to like I said, I've been watching your show for a while just because, you're really giving us that knowledge. You got a lot of experience with the boxing, and, I don't like looking at channels that they're all aggressive, talking negative shit. Boxing, anybody, it doesn't matter if you're the best right now. Anybody could get knocked out at any time. That is the sport of boxing.
Yeah.
If they time you correctly. See, remember with Pacquiao and Marquez?
Yeah.
Marquez was so tired because they kept fucking Marquez like he was losing, but he wasn't. But what's crazy is that last fight, the fourth fight, Pacquiao was actually winning. Marquez knocked and put him to sleep. This wasn't no just knockout or whatever. He put, Pacquiao to sleep.
He had been looking.
Nobody
He
seems
had
to
been
talk
looking
about
to
that.
ran. He had been looking to land that right hand since their very first fight.
Yep,
And he
exactly.
finally got it
That's
in
why
there.
he came in. Man, when I seen Pacquiao hit that floor, I jumped up. I was like, it's about time. I've been saying, it's about time. I mean, I felt bad, like worried about Pacquiao because, you know, they had to like do their best to wake him up. Nobody wants to see something like that. But Marquez, he came into that fight knowing I gotta knock this man out
Yeah.
because he didn't want to like get that loss again,
Yeah.
and he did it. He timed them very well, you know.
Yeah.
You
that
know,
was something
but nobody
else.
talks about it. Nobody talks about it. They never give like Marquez, like people like Marquez, boxers like Marquez, their flowers. You know, and like I hate stuff like that. You know, boxing there's a lot of politics in this sport, and you know, a lot of setups. You know, like, come on, you know, I could go on and on when it comes down to you know how they handle everything.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. You know, we're like people like us. We're going to continue to, you know, give the real boxers that support that they need. You know, that they should hear.
Right.
Not all that negative shit.
Right.
You know. So.
All
that's
right.
just
Well,
my opinion
what's
on
your
everything.
what's your name again?
Liz.
Liz, I appreciate your call.
Yeah.
You know, I appreciate your call and you sharing with us. And it's definitely obvious that you like your boxing too, and that's great. You know,
Oh, I love it.
because hey, and see, to be able to have a conversation with someone who loves the sport, you can always tell because the passion will come through your talking points and everything. People who just try to be superficial, that's what they'll do. They'll exhibit that superficial demeanor. So, you know, but I can definitely tell that you enjoy your boxing. And I appreciate you calling. And you can feel free to call in the future to, you know, if you got some talking points, like, hey, Stormy, I watched that fight last night and I got something to say. Well,
I
please.
definitely will.
Yeah, absolutely. You're more than welcome to do that.
Yeah.
So,
Well, thank you. I'm excited that I was even able to talk to you.
oh, yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah.
because I never get the chance to call in. By the time I see the call-in is done. You
Well,
won't
yeah,
get no more.
the
That's why I kept. That's why I was like, you know, I kept calling you so you could see that too.
yeah, and the thing
So
about
when
it
was
is,
my time. Yeah.
I can't do multiple calls. I can't do like
Yeah, I
more
know.
than one. So as soon as I wrap one call, if someone's interested in calling next, that's fine. But I can't do the party line
Yeah.
type deal. I wish I could, but I can't do it with the setup that I have. But yeah, this and usually I get 2 calls a show, which is okay because I give people a chance to flesh out their thoughts and their conversation, but also at the same time, it's not a rushing process because in order to have a real conversation, I'm a person of depth, and I believe that you have to have a layered conversation. You can't just come and say, well, blah, 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 and I'm done. No, hey, let's talk about it.
Exactly.
That's like when I was talking to
You're
the
right.
caller before you, B-Mac, and he made those assessments on Devin, and I asked him a strong question. I said, well, what made you think that Norman would, walk over Devin and this and that? And once he explained where he was in his position in that and why,
Because of his last fight.
yeah, and I had to break that down to him and tell him, hey, you're looking at the sport wrong, man. You're looking at it wrong. Because Devin happens
See, a lot
to
of
be,
people,
he happens to be
a lot of people, I didn't
few
mean to cut you
fighters.
off, but honestly, you know what it is? Is that, they'll, when you'll tell them, well, you're looking at it wrong. They get upset because they're not correct on what what they think was supposed to happen.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people get upset when that person wins. Yeah, the last fight Haney had wasn't entertaining, but he won.
Yeah,
Okay? He won the fight. He did the most,
yeah.
So that's how I think everybody thought Haney was going to lose just because of his last fight,
Yeah.
And Haney came out, that Haney that we know, he came out and he handled them. He handled them because I give him every round. He handled them.
Yeah.
You know. I was over here jumping up and screaming at my TV last night.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like I said, I'm excited that I finally got through and was able to talk to you because I am a big fan of your channel.
Well, I appreciate it.
So,
I appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna call back in if anything.
Okay.
Let's see.
You're more than welcome
Let's
to.
see.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
Good talking to you. You
All
have a
right,
great
yeah.
Sunday.
It was good talking to you too.
All right.
Yep. Enjoy your day.
You too.
All
Take
right,
care.
bye.
Bye. Great conversation from Miss Liz there. Jamal's wife. Appreciate the call. Yep. Great stuff there. Let me get to my Cash App donations. We had a couple from the brother EJ out there on Rumble. He says, shots fired, that sensei giving drug cheat F pluses. Get to the back of the class because the ninja sword never makes no mistakes. Heavyweight? Shit. Appreciate EJ with that. And then we had another one where he gave Cash App for, he says, the master teacher on the F plus class is in session. Thank you so much there, EJ. I appreciate you, bro. You are really a studious person with your support here on the channel, man. That's great stuff. Great stuff. So, but yeah, we're gonna get ready to wrap things up because it's just about that time. But you know what? Coach Hudson, you still in the chat? Coach Hudson? Trying to wait and see if there's a response from Coach Hudson. I take it Coach Hudson may not be out there. Thank Father, what's good with you? I see you in the building. Okay. I'm gonna get ready to shut this down. Let's see here. So yeah, it's been a great weekend of boxing, man. I'm gonna go back and watch some of these fights again. That's what's up. But I want to thank my two callers. We had Liz and we had the brother B Mac. Great stuff as usual. Contributing mightily to what we do out here. Mightily. So we're gonna get ready to get on out of here. I want you guys to know that for anybody looking for Stormybman merchandise, the link is in the description box for the two sites that you can go to. A Weapons site, you go there, you just punch in the code Stormy in all caps. It'll take you right to the gear that's over there, or the Streamlabs link where all the gear that has been created and designed over there is by me exclusively. So the link is in the description box for anybody interested in Stormybman gear and attire. It's like, hey, the holiday season coming up. You might have somebody that needs a hoodie, a tee, a polo shirt, coffee mugs, whatever, you name it. We got it going on over there. So don't rob yourself, treat yourself. Get you some of that Stormybman gear. But we're going to get on up out of here. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you didn't hit the like button coming in, make sure you hit it on the way out. If you're coming in late, catch the replay. It was a very good show, great conversation. So with that being said, I'm heading out. Shout out to the mighty LDBC, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace to everybody. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.